How many words can you learn per day in a foreign language? I recently ran a poll in my channel, and the answers were surprising in a good way. The options were 5 words or less, 10 to 20 words per day, 25 to 50 words, and 100 words or more. And 39% of people answered this last option. They chose this 100 words or more. And I can tell these people have been following my channel for a while and learning about the memorization techniques. You see, you can't learn more than 100 words a day in a foreign language if you know how. And every time I say that, I get people telling me that's impossible. That's impossible according to whom exactly? Whenever someone says it's impossible to learn 100 words a day, you only have to ask them, so what's possible? Where's the limit? Where's the red line? So you can learn a word a day, obviously. 10 words a day, is that too much? 50 words, is that too much? Where's the limit? Does it depend on the person? Does it depend on the technique used? What's realistic? They often tell me that as well. That's unrealistic expectations. That's unrealistic, impossible, blah, blah, blah. What's realistic? I don't remember that story exactly, but what was it, like the 4 minute mile or the 4 minute? I don't. There was a world record that was, I don't know, running a mile in 4 minutes or something like that. I don't remember exactly. And people thought it was impossible to do it, and nobody had done it before. And then someone, I don't know, I don't remember, in the 30s or 40s or whatever decade it was, someone did it. And then the same year, a couple of dudes did it, and now everyone does it. I think it was a 4 hour mile. What's my point with this? The limits of how much you can achieve, unless obviously you want to. If I say I'm going to bench press like 3,000 kilograms, obviously that's not going to happen. Yeah. But 100 words a day? Why? So why is that unrealistic? Again, is 10 realistic? Is 20 realistic? Is 50? Where's the limit? Nobody knows. So, and if you've got people telling you they've done it, and there are actual records of people doing it, like this written records of that, why shouldn't you try instead of complaining about it? Yeah. So this is how you do it. You use mnemonic associations. To learn a word, okay, there are different ways of learning a word, of knowing a word. You can know a word passively, or you can know it actively. If you know it passively, it means that you can recognize it in context, but you can't think of it fast enough to, or at all, to use it in conversation yourself. So it's a passive word. If it's an active word, and obviously your active vocabulary is always going to be much smaller than your passive vocabulary. If it's an active word, you'll be able to use it. You remember it, and you'll just use it in conversation. So a big goal is always to increase your not only your passive but your active vocabulary. And what I recommend you do is first use mnemonic associations. So you visualize the words, you associate them with their meaning, and you create mental images so that the words stick and you remember them. And then when you see them in context, you recognize them. That's number one, mnemonics. Master the technique and you can memorize. You'll be able to memorize 100 words a day or more. I know people who memorize 1,000 words a day. It's doable. If you've got time and you're good at the technique, I don't do it. I've done it before, but it's not sustainable for me. But a couple hundred a day, easy. So yeah, first master the memorization technique, mnemonics. Then you need to actually store those words in your long-term memory. And for that, you need to learn them in context. So what I recommend is having the words and next to each word having an example sentence. Those words in example sentences will be much easier to remember after the mnemonic association, of course. So you just have to create audio files and texts of all the thousands of example sentences of all the thousands of words you want to learn, and you review the list regularly and you listen to it regularly. And just like that, you learn to recognize and understand hundreds and then thousands of words. And then you have to activate them so that you can use them in your own speaking, in conversation. And for that, some of them will be activated naturally, the most common ones and the most useful ones. But there'll be a lot of words that are not part of your active vocabulary, and they won't become part of your active vocabulary unless you specifically work on it, and you do targeted exercises. And what I recommend is simply taking the list of example sentences and doing retrieval practice with it. Translate from English into the target language, and you try to translate into the target language, yeah. And if you make mistakes, then you get the right answer and self-correct. And this way, you're working on your ability to think in the language, to remember all those words. Yeah, you're retrieving the information. It's not only something that you recognize, now it's also something that you can use. Yeah, you can think of it fast enough and you can use it in conversation. And also you're checking where the mistakes are. So you're working on everything at the same time. Error correction, fluency, your ability to think in the language, pronunciation a little bit as well, muscle memory, saying the things aloud, all the sentences. So this is a very complete exercise. So you combine mnemonics for memorizing vocabulary fast, and then input and retrieval practice and saying the sentences aloud for activating the vocabulary and making sure that it stays in your long-term memory. And that's it. That's how you learn thousands of sentences per week. Hundreds a day, thousands a week. It's doable. That's it. Thanks for watching. See you later.